Jawar Mohammed, the prominent Oromo opposition politician, has responded to Isaias Afwerki's speech of yesterday. Eritrean President Isaias Afwerki yesterday delivered a speech on the occasion of Eritrean Independence Day. Jawar criticized Isaias Afwerki. What happened? What led to this criticism from Jawar against the Eritrean president? Second story is about Tigray Eritrea border. All the reports which I shared with you from the border have been confirmed. Reports about opening of the border crossing, report about cross-border trade, etc. Details for you. And last, Eskinder Nega Fano group has issued a statement in response to a statement by the US Embassy in Ethiopia, which called for dialogue between Fano and government, Ola and government. Let's have a look at this new story first. We know that 2 days ago, US Embassy in Ethiopia, led by Arvind Masinga, the ambassador, issued a statement. It called for an end to drone strikes in the Amhara region. Later, it changed that part of the statement and called for protection and safety of the citizens of Ethiopia. It asked Fano to come up with realistic demands to negotiate with the government. It asked Ola to talk to find a peaceful solution to the armed conflict in Oromia. Then we saw two statements in response: Amhara Fano People's Force, Amhara Fano National Force, AFNF, issued a statement. A 13-member body represent this group. Several main Fano commanders are part of AFNF. AFNF issued a strong statement. It called for withdrawal of federal forces from Amhara. It called for dissolution of Amhara government. It called for establishment of interim government in Amhara and handing over of power to a government led by Fano. It called for closure of all PP offices in Amhara, and it called for Metakal, Shoa, Raya, and Volkaya to be part of the Amhara. I criticized that statement by AFNF. I said ANF should have been diplomatic. They need to learn how to issue statements, how to respond to international statements. Then came statement from Oromo Liberation Army, which was a measured statement, balanced statement. Ola called for sanctions on the Ethiopian politicians and military officials. It called for international investigation into human rights violations being committed in Ethiopia. Eskinder Nega group issued a statement yesterday. The group is Amhara Fano People's Organization, AFPO. Skandar's statement is balanced. Skandar has not shared any unrealistic preconditions. He's only calling for end to drone strikes. This is what Arvind Masinga also wrote in the first statement, but later this part of the statement was changed. He is calling for an end to drone strikes in Amhara. Secondly, he wants an international inquiry commission to investigate the abuses being committed in the Amhara region. He said that he has been engaging himself with AU, EU, and other representatives, US too. So he believes in solution to conflicts. So Skandar did not share the preconditions shared by AFNF. You see now that Fano now is split into main groups, one led by Skandar Naga and the other led by 13-member body, including Zamina Kasi, etc. And the two groups have shared different statements with different preconditions for engagement with the government. Secondly, viewers, Jawar Mohammed today criticized Isaias Afwerki. Jawar has been very restrained in his criticism of Eritrea in the last 2 years. Since his release, he did not criticize Eritrea, he did not criticize TPLF, He didn't criticized Fano Ola. He has been mainly hitting at the federal government, at PP, at PMRB. Uh, he responded to Isas Afwerki's yesterday's speech. Yesterday, Isas Afwerki, the president, gave a speech on Eritrean Independence Day. And he used a term, Oromama. Joe are not happy with the use of this term, the way it was used by uh, Eritrean president. He said he was disheartened to see how the term was used by the Eritrean president. Oromama, he said, is an expression of Oromo identity. It is not a political ideology. What PM Abiy is doing is not following Oromama. Oromama is what all Oromos believe in. Nothing wrong with that. It does not mean that Oromos want political dominance in Ethiopia. Oromama has nothing to do with politics. Isaias Afwerki, the president, wrongly used this term. Yeah, this is what several Oromos say when they talk to me as well. They say, Sajid, use of the term Oromama is made by anti-Oromo groups. Oromama is basically an expression of Oromo identity. It has nothing to do with efforts to create a monopoly on politics and power in Ethiopia. Jawar, by the way, summed up his criticism of Sasavaki by saying that the speech by the president is indication of escalation of tensions between the two countries. War could erupt. There must be intervention. There are no collision course on a course on a trajectory of collision. There must be intervention. If there is no intervention, a war could erupt in the Horn of Africa. He was saying war is imminent. Now he's changed his position. He's saying war could erupt. This is what I say: war could erupt, but war is not imminent. Maybe towards the end of this year, we could see some real escalation. But so far, Ethiopian government working on a plan to pressurize Afwerki government. If this plan fails, then we could see escalation of military tensions. Lastly, viewers, my reports being confirmed now by almost all the sources reporting about Tigray Eritrea border. Pictures are being shared showing one such picture is placed on thumbnail of this video. The picture shows goods vehicles, loader vehicles on Tigray Eritrea border, crossing into Eritrea from Tigray reportedly or vice versa. I reported weeks ago that Eritrea had opened its two border crossings with Tigray. Back then, some viewers said, Sajid, we are in the area, border is closed, you're being misled. Then I made a second video. I said that not only had the border been opened, cross-border trade had begun. So, first video was about Eritrea opening the border crossing, which were closed. Second video was about cross-border trade and the entry of goods from Eritrea into Tigray. And in the third video, I told you about the entry of goods from Tigray into Eritrea, leading to some price hike in border areas. All these reports are now being confirmed. Pictures coming from the border areas, opening of border crossing, cross-border movement of goods, transport vehicles, and effect on this movement, the effect of this movement on prices confirmed. I made those videos after due verification. Sometimes I do make mistakes, but generally people help me a lot in improving the quality of the reporting. It's very difficult to get information from the border area, the border area, So far, reporting is pretty accurate, I would say. Let's see. We'll have to wait to see how the federal government responds. I mean, can Tigray open its border to another country? That decision can only be made by the federal government of Ethiopia. Federal government perhaps now has accepted that EPLF is forming an alliance with Eritrea and federal government is planning its counter strategy. No statement from federal government about the opening of Tigray border. If the border is open, was it opened after approval by the federal government? If federal government was not on page, why is it silent? Thank you for watching.